Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world. And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of God abideth forever.
It's a cold, cold world.
Shalom. First off, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rucha HaKodash, and double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honor, salutations, and blessings to the men that are preaching the gospel of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai in all sincerity, diligence, and truth. And peace, grace, and blessings be upon the house of David, which is the elect, men, women, and children that are listening and learning. So just another installment of news and prophecies. All right, I got a few articles and one video that I want to play, and it's all centered, of course, around biblical prophecy and the times that we are living in, linking it up, linking up the current events to the signs of the end. All right, so that the elect, the ones who are diligently making their calling and election sure, can be warned and edified and prepared for the times to come. All right, so that we may be found worthy to stand before Yahweh Shai and to escape all of these things that are coming upon the earth. And this first article I got here, coming from Epic Times, it says millennial Gen Z women fare far worse than women of previous generations. Okay, and just reading the headline alone indicates how corrupt and how decayed and the decadency that Babylon and the people, the people in Babylon are fallen. Okay, the mindset isn't that this place is getting better. All right, there's been studies. That's mad spiritual. I just see in the back, and I just seen this right now. I'm gonna see if I can zoom in on that. That's mad spiritual. As you see there, it says we bake our own bread, and the reason why this is spiritual, because speaking on the time of Jacob's trouble, all right, the calamity, a lot of women are going to be in the worser position or more worse position than men. All right, and it's not to be a sexist or misogynist. It's just the facts of the matter that the Lord created women as the weaker vessel. Okay, and when times get rough, usually it's the weaker ones that are targeted and that are in more of a dire strait. So reading this right here in the back, seeing it rather, we bake our own bread, tying it into this article, and also the other articles that I have, it is very indicative of really the mindset that a lot of women are going to be in. All right, pursuant to Isaiah the 4th chapter, which we know that off the top, but let's go over into this. It says a new report shows that young women aged 25 to 34 face more health threats than previous generations. All right, and that alone just shows you how the facade that America tries to put out as if it's progressing, it's been on an up and up, for the last few generations is all a lie. All right, and this is speaking about women in particularly, but when you look at across the board, when it comes to newer generations being able to afford a house, all right, that's at an all-time low. Okay, them being able to start families and have a certain amount of money saved up, that's at an all-time low. Okay, and all these things affect your standard of living, all right, your livelihood, and ultimately your your happiness and your success, which is why the scripture says that in the latter end there's going to be uproars of the people, right? And people uproar when they are not satisfied or happy with the conditions of their government. Okay, and we've been seeing that happening more and more and more as of late. And it's interesting too because just 60 years ago, right? 60 years ago, you had this whole women liberation movement, and less than 60 years ago, honestly, women liberation movement, right? The strong, independent, I can do bad all by myself type of mentality that women, especially the women of Israel, were deceived once again into believing that is a mindset to be in. And what has happened within the last 50, 60 years? This right here, this study is proof that is not a way, all right, to for women to live. All right, that's not the dynamic that the Lord, the Heavenly Father, when He created women, man and female, male and female, He did not create women, to live by themselves, to be strong, independent women. Okay, and I use the word strong, independent together because you could be strong, right, as a woman. All right, and that comes in various different ways, but it's not in the way that has been presented or perpetrated throughout America, because that type of strong independency has gotten women what? Physically and mentally worse. And we're going to read it. So it says, contrary to the aims of the movement for female empowerment, a new report shows that young women aged 25 to 34 face more health threats than previous generations. The study compared health and equity issues for women of different generations at 25 and 30 to 34. According to the report conducted by the Population Reference Bureau, a nonprofit research organization, progress has halted, with Generation X, Gen X, and millennial women physical health and safety declining in recent years. And why is this all happening? All right, this is all happening because Babylon is falling. All right, and really, when you think about how the Lord said that He was going to bring this place down, Babylon is suddenly falling, and how it wasn't going to tarry. The Lord did all of this. The truth came out back in the late 60s, early 70s, and from that point on, all you're seeing is just a decline in America. Okay, the morale, the money system, the military prowess, all these things has just been in a decline. The family structure, the education, okay, et cetera, because through the truth being pushed out, these strongholds that have been captivating the minds of mainly, first and foremost, our people, has been unveiled. All right, has been, I should say, the strongholds has been broken down. Okay, and with the breaking down, and not only are the strongholds being broken down, but the effects of Esau's lies are now wearing off. All right, and because they believe the lie, now you're seeing the actual result of living this lie that they have been beguiled into accepting or believing, this strong delusion. Okay, it's we always say it's similar to drinking. All right, yeah, so in the moment, right, it feels good, it's fun, it's you're having a blast, but what ends up happening, and is never going to you're never going to be able to skip the hangover. And now this is what has happened. This is what we're living in right now. See, we're living in the hangover age. All right. We're living in a hangover period. And the ones of us that were already spiritually sober, right? As it says in the book of Second Thessalonians, let's pull it up real quick. The ones of us that was already sober, we're not feeling the effects of the hangover. So like it, 1 Thessalonians 5. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 5, it says, ye are all children of the light and children of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. For they that sleep, sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night. Okay? And that's what that's what this whole time has been. You know, since the truth has came out, what is the truth also equated to? Right? The light. Okay? This truth is equated to the light. It's also equated to water. And when you're drunk, you know, water is your best friend when you're dealing with that hangover, right? But a lot of our people, they are children of the night, right? And they didn't want to sober up. They wanted to continue to just keep drinking and living in darkness. But eventually, the cup, all right, or that bottle empties out, and you can't stay drunk forever. And now you're dealing with the soberness of reality, and it's doing what? It's messing with your physical and your mental state. Okay, so let's read on. It says, according to PRB, Gen X individuals include those born between 1965 and 1980. Those born between 1981 and 1999 are considered millennials. And although you have, like, you know, the elder, you know, actually, really, when you really think about it, a lot, and I'm not saying all of it, but a lot of brothers who were born, or who are in the truth, was born during this time. Okay, they're born between the 1981 and 1999 time. Now, of course, you do got brothers that's born between 1965 and 1980, right? And then you even have the elders that are born before that time. Okay, a few years probably before 1965. And then you do got some brothers that are born in the 2000s. But regardless of that, these generations are the generations, or this time period is the generation that the truth, all right, and the ones who have been preaching the truth, the Lord has risen, awakened, and put out on the forefront, right? He has put out, as Apostle Paul said, I have set my apostles last, all right? And us being set up last is called, and once again has caused the whole world to shake. Okay, spirit is called a spiritual upheaval. And now, as the house of David is getting stronger, right? Is waxing stronger. Esau, in his hegemony, is what in a rapid decline, which is why Yahushua even said it. Behold, I saw Satan as lightning falling from heaven. All right, meaning what? He's going down. He's going down fast, man. Let's keep reading. It says, increased rates. Did I skip that? Consider millennials, though the years vary slightly depending on the source. All right. Increased rates of suicide and homicide and a lack of access to health care services like safe abortions have the combined effect of reversing the health and safety gains women of previous generation experienced. And the thing about the whole abortion thing, which is completely an abomination, but back in the early, back 50, 60 years ago, women weren't getting abortions like new pair of shoes as they're doing now in this day and age. All right. And as Yahushua said, because iniquity, the love of many shall wax cold. I should say, because iniquity abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Right? Sin is abounding, so people are becoming colder and colder, even toward their own children, which is why a woman could get an abortion and act like it's nothing. Matter of fact, you got these so-called celebrity women that come on social media and they talk about having abortions, and it's something that is damn near celebrated. Okay, but that's neither here nor there. Reading on, it says have the combined effect of reversing health and safety gains women of previous generation experience, especially women of color. See, and it's always going to be the ones who are forefront, or ones who is magnified on, are always going to be Israelites. Okay, because what, we are under the curses, and you Israelite women are, to keep it a buck, not the ones who have repented and are living according to the way that Yahweh Bashim Yahushua have commanded you, but the majority of our women are completely defiled. All right, they're completely revolted and gone. Okay, and then when they come across the truth, they scorn it, they mock it, they laugh at it, they don't want nothing to do with it, and that's ultimately to their own demise. Okay, the Lord having the truth come out is the Lord showing compassion to his people, and the ones who of you who reject it, then that means you love death, as it says in Proverbs the 8th chapter. All they that hate me love death. All right, and the me in that chapter is wisdom, really Yahushua, but speaking metaphorically as wisdom. And who are we speaking on behalf of? We're speaking on behalf of Yahushua. So the words that we are speaking are in essence wisdom. Okay, so it says, especially women of color. Diana Elliott, vice president for the U.S. programs at the PRB, said in November 30th press release, generations of progress losing ground. And it was never progress. It was presented as progress, but really it was degenerative for our people. Okay, when it talks about that in Jeremiah, the 2nd chapter, that the Lord planted a noble vine, right? Wherefore did how then? Let's read it. Jeremiah 2 verse 20. You know what? Yep. Let's start at 19. It says, "Thine own wickedness shall correct thee, and thy backsliding shall reprove thee." You see that? So your own wickedness is correcting you, because you should reap the reward of your ill doings. Okay, living that careless lifestyle, living the lifestyle of not wanting to be subjected to your man, all right, your Israelite husband, living that lifestyle of I don't need a man, when the scriptures tells you that a woman was created for the man. So when you say you don't need a man, you are in essence saying that the reason for your existence is not needed. And now you become you're striving with your maker. Okay? And how do you get this mindset? You didn't come up with this mindset on your own. This was a mindset that was that was given unto you by no other than the devil himself, Esau, Edom. But now you are reaping the delusion that you have ingested, and now it's causing what you to be bugged out of your mind, right? Suicidal, depressed, obese, lonely, lamentable, all these different physical ailments, all these things. Why? Verse 19, thine own wickedness shall correct thee, and thy backslidings shall reprove thee. Know therefore and see that it is an evil thing and bitter that thou hast forsaken Yahweh thy God, and that my fear is not in thee, saith Yahweh God of hosts. You see that? So the fear of the Lord wasn't in you, Salakia, wasn't in you, and now you are getting the result of not having the fear of the Lord. Okay? Because the scriptures tells you that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. and by the way that you conduct yourself, which goes adverse to the ways of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, shows that you don't fear the Lord. Verse 20, it says, for of old time I have broken thine yoke and burst thy bands, and thou saidest, I will not transgress. Now this is all of Israel has said this, right? The Lord took us out of captivity, took us out underneath from being underneath these heathens, and then we will say, oh Lord, I won't do it again. And the funny thing is, you got Jake that say it now. Now, of course, they don't use the name of the Lord, but Jake, as Paul said, got a zeal, right? But not according to knowledge. They always say whenever they get into some type of mess, they always try to make a deal, make an agreement, oath to God. Oh God, if you just get me out of this, I promise I'll never do this again. I promise I'll never do that again. If you could just help me this one last time, I promise. Right? So they said, for of old time I have broken thy yoke and burst thy bands, and thou saidest, I will not transgress. When upon every high hill and under every green tree thou wanderest, playing the harlot. So you go right back to it. And once again, this is the Lord talking about the nation of Israel, but speaking specifically using this to speak about the women. That's exactly what they're really doing, playing the harlot. Not they do that literally and spiritually. Verse 21. Yet I have planted thee a noble vine, wholly a right seed. When then art thou turned into a degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me? And how did that happen? Because our people started following the ways of the wicked. Okay? And speaking specifically about this article research study right here, when our women started following, right, believing in the lies of the devil, all right, and his different institutions and his governmental policies, which ultimately was just a ploy to continuously destroy our people, destroy the family structure, destroy the subjection that the women had to their men. I'm not speaking about the Israelite women that they had to their man, right? And then destroyed the dependency that an Israelite woman had to their men by giving them these liberties, which the scriptures tells you, give not a woman liberty to gad abroad. But see, when you say that now, because our women are drunk off of this devil's ideologies, off of his wine, that when you say that, it sounds oppressive to them. When you say that, it sounds misogynist. When you say give not a woman liberty to gad abroad, it's not just because the Lord is a sexist or a tyrant that he just don't want women to have any type of happiness. It's because this is what happens when you get liberty to gad abroad. This is the result of right here. This study, what this study is showing, is the proof of what happens when you give women freedom. Okay, their own wickedness destroys them. Their own minds destroys them. Why do you think so many women are single right now? It's not because they're ugly. It's because they don't know how to pick a good husband. They're picking men, and that's another thing. You're not even have, I'm going on a tangent, but women aren't even supposed to be choosing or picking their own husbands. That was something that was supposed to be done by their father or a older relative. Okay, now a man could entice a woman, but ultimately what he had to go do, he had to go to the father and ask for her hand in marriage. And they still try to play that in this world. When a man wants to marry, according to this world, a woman, it's still traditional to go ask the father. But you already done lay with her. You done seen her blown her back out, all these things, but you still got to ask her hand for a marriage. For what purpose? Right? Salakia. So let's read on. It says, despite decades of progress between 1960 and the 1990s, each generation of women in the U.S. does not do better than the previous generation, than the generation before, the study reports. Moreover, the promise of progress diminishes with each generation. See that? The promise of progress diminishes. The promise of the American dream diminished. The promise of a better life, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. All that has diminished with each generation. Okay. So, what does this show? This shows you that America is on its last leg. That this place does not have generations left. Because look how bad it's going right now. Okay, and this has only been 40, 50 years. Why the scripture says that the triumphing of the wicked is but for a moment. So it says researchers point to the following key takeaways of the report as examples. Suicide rates among women aged 25 to 34 has risen from 4.4 deaths per 100,000 for Gen X to 7 deaths per 100,000 for millennial women. All right, seven women. Show Cleveland to 7 deaths. Suicide rates have declined among white women, but are nearly 3 times as high in women of color. See that? Because this world is Esau's kingdom. Okay? This world isn't the kingdom for you Israelite women. This isn't where your rest is at. Let's pull that up. Micah chapter 2 verse 10. It says, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction." This isn't an all-inclusive you, all right? This isn't an all-inclusive your. This is speaking specifically about Israelites, okay? The seed of Jacob. This is not your rest. So it's going to, because it's polluted, it's going to destroy you, even with a sore destruction. And that's why the women liberation movement, although you had so-called white women that were at the forefront of that, who really did it destroy, right? This whole independent women movement, who did that actually cause to be in a worser position? Because the so-called Chinese woman, the so-called Chinese man, the so-called Indian man, all right, the so-called Arab man, they all got their women. Okay? You don't see a lot, I'm not going to say none, but you don't see a lot of single mothers that are of these other nations. It's mostly Israelite women. Okay? So it says maternal mortality rates have soared from 19.2 deaths per 100,000 live births between 2013 to 2015 to 30.4 deaths between 2019 and 2021. Now, what happened to science and medicine is supposed to be accelerated? Why are people dying giving birth more? All right. It says homicide rates have also increased among young women from 4.3 deaths per 100,000 for Gen X to 4.5 deaths for millennials. The rates have increased by nearly 60% for black millennial women. That's between 1981 and 1999. Okay? Which, like I said, you have a lot of brothers that are a lot of prophets were born during that time period. Okay? Like I said, not every prophet, but a bulk of prophets were born between 1981 and 1999. So it's no marvel that same generation of people are faring far worse. Millennial women in particular are faring worse than previous generations, with their overall well-being ranking 6% lower than that of women who came before them. Researchers noted that millennial women are more educated but less advantaged than previous generations. Okay? And you seen Kevin Samuels talked about that all the time. How, women talking about, oh, I'm a PhD, right? You got all these so-called educational accolades, but you're physically, mentally, you're in a worse position. As it says here, you're less advantaged than the previous generations. Millennial women are more likely to be living in poverty than Gen X women at the same life stage, and that can also be due to this inflation out of control. Okay, the dollar not being as strong. Okay, so doing all that, you got all of these various different variables, but then on top of that, you got women that are in this mindset of being by themselves and doing things on their own, right? Tyler Perry, I can do bad all by myself. Well, you're not just doing bad, you're doing worse. You down bad by yourself. And this was all, once again, the ploy of this devil. And that's why do you think sex toys are so popular now? Because ultimately, this devil, he doesn't want Israelite men and women to replicate. He doesn't want them to reproduce. It's not nothing new. Pharaoh tried to stop that. Okay, Herod tried to kill he did that because of Yahushua, right? All of the kids 2 and younger. But stopping Israel from reproducing has been an agenda for generations, millennials. You see? But ultimately, the Lord only cares about the elect, and his elect were going to be on the earth, no matter what type of obstacles this devil tried to put in place. So let's see. I don't want to read through this whole thing. Let's see. It says researchers noted that they couldn't fully untangle why outcomes may be different across generations, but that fact should not diminish the importance of understanding change over time for young women in the United States. The report coincides with a study by researchers in Sydney, which is in Australia, who also found that mental health in developed nations, especially among young people, have been declining for years. All right, in developed nations, a lot of times speaking about these westernized nations, why is it declining? Because although it may be a quote unquote developed nation, culturally, the morals, the ethics of this nation, of these nations, are perverse. Okay, they're not developed. They're developed into wickedness. So you may have a GDP that may be of a high, right, higher than most other countries in the world, which that will make you a developed nation. But the mindset that you push out is completely abominable. All right, the culture that you push out is predicated upon Satanism, witchcraft. So what is that going? And the ones who partake in those things, the ones who have joined hand in hand, okay, in that type of lifestyle, are going to be affected. And when you talk about mental illness, that's just Esau's new speech for demons. Okay, a plague of the mind. You having a demon on you. Because when you go into the scriptures, they would talk about he was a lunatic, right? Saul, he was plagued, right? When it said the Lord put an evil spirit upon him, when you go actually and research and look into it, it said that he could have been depressed, have depression, or bipolar, which is nothing but, as it says, it's an evil spirit. It's a demon that was on him. But see, Esau tries to use science falsely so-called and to say it's this and it's that. It's, you just take this medication and that, which is nothing but drugs, right? Pharmakia goes back to witchcraft, all those things. So all you're doing is just masking these demons, right? with sorcery, with witchcraft. And a lot of women, especially our women, are heavily medicated. So it says much of the focus to date has been on declining mental health of school-age children and adolescents, where we expect their mental health to eventually improve as they enter adulthood. But this study shows this pattern is changing, and that is not just the kids we need to worry about. Okay? So you can only imagine what it's going to be for Generation Z's, right? And Alpha Zeta, whatever they want to call the next generation after that. It's through. That's why the Lord said that if he did not shorten the time, there would be no flesh saved. But for the elect's sake, right? For the elect's sake, he was going to shorten the days, because these people, minds, bodies, spirits are completely just through. They're done. Okay? And we haven't even entered into the all hell breaking loose, shit hitting the fan moment, the hour of temptation, which goes back to this where he says we bake our own bread. When women get to that, when the world gets to that point, when Babylon the Great gets to that point where now you're not just dealing with your own mental health, right? Your own mental issues that you're dealing with, or your own physical infirmities that you're dealing with, but now you got existential factors that are into play. Now you got a Diego's Day every corner that you turn. Okay? Now you don't live in a society to where you could just pick up the phone and dial 911 and expect to be rescued. You don't live in a society where you can just get in your car and flee or run or lock your doors and you feel safe because you got ADP, right? Alarm system. When all those things, when all of those extra factors are taken out, women are going to be highly humbled. Remember, the Lord said that he's going to bring the haughty looks low, the proud and lofty looks low. Women from the beginning were created to be shamefaced. Actually, in the ancient world, it was a dishonor for a woman to not to be shamefaced, for her not to be modest, for her not to be meek. But in this society, you got the complete opposite of women now. But the Lord, hey, everything is out of course. The earth is out of course, but he's about to shake everything back up. You know, he's about to shake it all back up and put it all back in place. But the way it's going to go back in place, a lot of people, a lot of women are going to die. And that's just straight what it is. And the only way that you're going to be able to make it is if you are a part of the elect of the nation of Israel here in Babylon the Great. But a lot of you Israelite women that have not taken heed to the warning of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, have not amended your ways, have not looked taken counsel, okay, from the scourges that the Lord have sent. When shit hits the fan, the Lord said what in Proverbs the 1st chapter? Then you're going to call upon him, but he's not going to hear you. All right, when your calamity comes like a whirlwind and your desolation, right, comes upon you, you're not going to be able just to, I'm just going to thug my way through. I'm just going to keep fighting. I'm going to wake. You're not going to be able to do no manifestation or no affirmation quotes to get you through this. Okay? But as it says here in Isaiah 4:1, a remnant prepared, because just like you have the remnant men or the elect men, you got elect women as well. So it says, and in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. All right. And that word reproach means what? You're taunt. You're mocking. You see? And what? You're going to, we bake our own bread. You're going to be saying we will make our own food. All right, so that's it on that one. I know that was a pretty long-winded one, so let me go to this next one here. It says, young Brits. You know what? Let me see something. Actually, I can't even tell how long it's been. Let me just, I just read it because I just don't want to make it too long, but this one is kind of short. It says, young Brits are open to banning the Bible unless the, quote, of offensive parts can be edited out. Close to a quarter of young British people said recently that they would be open to banning the Bible if they believed its pages contained, quote, hate speech. And this right here is why the Lord is bringing his wrath, okay? Because as we just read, progress it hasn't ever been progress, but the world is declining, okay? The morale, the minds, the mental health is declining, and people are doing what? They're revolting. They're waxing worse and worse. Somebody in their right mind would say, "Yo, what is? Look at the state of the world, and have to say, okay, maybe we need to go toward some type of higher power for guidance in our way of living, in our way of conducting ourselves." But yet, because we are in a horrible time period, right? We're in the worst time ever. People are doing what? They're saying, no, we should actually ban the Bible because if it contains hate speech. But then again, who are the authors, all right, of who gets to decide what is considered hate speech or not? It's who? The elites of this world. And what he called hate is actually love, and what he called love is actually hate. What he calls good is actually evil, and what he called evil is actually good. But these people, once again, are delusioned. They have believed a strong delusion. They believe a lie. So now they're actually coming up against the word of God. Whitestone Insights, a polling group, surveyed 2,088 adults in the United Kingdom, asking them if they agreed with the following statement. Unless the offending parts can be edited out, books containing what some perceive as hate speech should be banned from general sale, including, if necessary, religious texts such as the Bible. 23% of respondents between the ages of 18 and 34, so around that same age period of the millennials, right? The ones who are faring far worse, the ones who are having increased suicide, mental health, physical health, homicide, all these negative factors, they're the ones that are what? Were most likely to agree with the statement, followed by those of ages 35 to 54 and 13% of those over the age of 55, according to a Christian Today. So that same millennial generation that we just read about are the ones, a quarter of them are the ones who have this mindset. And this is why the Lord said that this generation shall not pass to all be fulfilled. Because we can clearly see that it's this time period, this generation, where people are the most satanic, anti-Messiah. Okay? We're literally living in the worst age ever. But it also is the last. All right? Esau is the end of this world. This is the last age of heathenistic rulership. So it says the study results comes as Dr. Pavi, a Finnish politician, emerged victorious from a years-long legal battle after she shared on Twitter, now X, her Bible-based views on that and God's design for marriage to be a lifetime union between one man and one woman. See that? You can't even say that now. Actually, I seen an article yesterday that the CDC changed the terminology of a pregnant woman to pregnant people so that it could be inclusive of non-binary individuals, as if any type of person outside of a woman could be pregnant. But that's them, once again, striving with their maker, them opposing all things that is called the Most High. And that's why the Lord is going to come with fury and anger and fire and destroy you and to take out your whole setup. This whole place it has to go. Okay? It has to go. And that's why there's going to be 1,000 years of rigorous and severe rulership of the house of David on the earth, so that the world can learn righteousness, because their minds have been so far polluted to the point where you can't convince somebody to be righteous by words. It's going to take a rod of iron. It's going to take them being broken into shivers. And that is as it says in Psalms 150 or 149, that honor has all his saints. That's going to be an honor, Lord willing, if I be a part of that, to be a part of one of the pillars to establish righteousness on the earth. And it has to come by way of physicality. Okay? Because, hey, this devil, he established wickedness on the earth through physical means. Okay? So we're going to establish righteousness on the earth through physical means. But it starts right now with, as it says in 2 Thessalonians, then shall that wicked be revealed through the spirit of the Lord's mouth. All right? And we are waiting until the day that the Lord rises up to the prey. But until then, it's all about chanting down Babylon the Great, bringing down these strongholds that are on the minds of the people. And as you can clearly see, this is the type of mindset the people are in. All right? And we're not making this up. It says we may no longer be a majority Christian population here in Britain, said McLachie. That's even more reason to protect freedom of speech and belief for all. In addition to Razian case, there have been cases of unabashed censorship in the UK, including a woman who has been arrested twice for praying silently outside of the abortion clinic. Censoring one type of belief because it fails to fit in with the dominant orthodoxy of our days. And what is a dominant orthodoxy of today, right? Let's look up this word orthodoxy. It says authorized or general accepted theory, doctrine, or practice, right? So what is a general practice or doctrine of today? It's Satanism. It's anti-Messiah. And you can clearly see that in your media, your entertainment industry, and your sports and everything. Everything, it's anti-Messiah. Okay? Everywhere you look, they're doing things that are against what the established laws of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai are. So it says, because it fails to fit in with the dominant orthodoxy, and that's ultimately why they're going to outlaw being able to teach the scriptures. The Bible is going to become as they're trying to, as you see right here, is going to become something that if it's taught the right way, it's going to be considered hate speech, and you're going to be penalized, right, or criminalized for doing it, for teaching it, which goes into what? The famine of the word. So it says, of our days is no better than imposing an illiberal blasphemy laws of the Middle Ages. And really, that during those times, right? And I'm not saying that that's how it was set up throughout the whole time, but we know who was ruling during the Middle Ages or the Dark Ages, right? That's why you have the Russian icons. Even in Greece, you got icons of black saints, but they were pushing the holy. They call it the Holy Roman Catholic Church, and it's not. And once again, it wasn't all righteous. It wasn't to the T, because you had paganism that were paganistic ideologies that were intertwined within that, but it was predicated upon the Bible. Okay, the ways of the laws back then were predicated upon the Bible, and that's how it's going to go back to. But in full righteousness underneath Yahushua in the house of David, the world is going to be lawed, predicated upon is going to be ruled rather, predicated upon the laws of the Bible. Okay, so that's basically it for that. I have this one last one, but for time period, I may actually, you know what? Let me just play it. If it plays. Oh, you know what? It ain't gonna play, so I'll just stop this lesson for now. Let me get a couple scriptures. Isaiah 32 verse 9, it says, "Rise up, ye women that are at ease, hear my voice, ye careless daughters, give ear unto my speech." All right, and you have a lot of women that are careless in these times. But how is the Lord going to fix that? As we read in Jeremiah, that their own wickedness is going to basically condemn them. Their own mindset is going to be the reason of their downfall, the reason of their destruction. Okay, so yep, I'll pretty much end it there, Lord willing. You know, this was edifying unto the elect, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. And until next time.